I just try and do my job and not think about what's happening. Try to find what happiness I can.
The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim was released on November 11, 2011. Its release was met with critical acclaim and won over 24 Game of the Year awards that same year. Skyrim was my introduction to the Elder Scrolls series, and I bet many other people can say the same. Since 2011, it's been released 2 more times, once on the PS4 and Xbox One, and another on the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Besides GTA 5, there isn't a game that's been released on 3 different console generations that I know of. So with Bethesda releasing Skyrim 3 different times on 3 different console generations, I wanted to talk about why this has happened, and what makes Skyrim so different from any other fantasy RPGs. The world of Skyrim is vast, filled with several terrains, large cities, small villages, and so many things to do. Exploring Skyrim is something I wish I could experience for the first time again. Going from city to city, picking out the little villages in between, or wiping out a cave full of vampires. Skyrim's base game content seems almost endless. If you were to complete everything in just the base game of Skyrim, it would take around 230 hours just for the base game that was released in 2011. To 100% the special edition or even the anniversary edition that was released in 2021, I'm not sure how long that would take. It's not only the content in the game that feels endless, but the world is full of things to explore. The world of Skyrim is beautiful, especially for a game that was released over a decade ago now, and exploring Skyrim is so much fun because of how alive the world feels. Walking through a snow forest, you'll run into people on a journey of their own, to places far from where they're from, traveling merchants or even mercenaries. While out in the wild, you can hunt for the wildlife, or you can just observe from a distance. You can visit little towns and speak to people about what goes on there, learn little bits about who they are. They might even give you a quest about what's going on in their recent life. The world of Skyrim really sucks you in. I often find myself just walking around the open world, taking in views, or doing side quests that really have no real reward besides just doing a nice thing for some random NPC. Traveling across the lands of Skyrim, above or below ground, overall is just super captivating. Caves and dungeons play a really big part in Skyrim's exploration. They also tie into quests quite a bit and pretty often. You can find a decent amount of weapons, shouts, and spells in caves. How many of those are actually good? Well, that's up to you, I guess. I'd say that if exploring caves was the only thing you were doing, it would get pretty old pretty quickly. Luckily for us, that's not the only thing you're doing in Skyrim. And the variety of caves and dungeons is actually quite impressive. You can find underground dwarven cities that are absolutely stunning, demon bosses who've been locked underground for ages, and even in Markoth, I think the prison's underground. Overall, the caves and dungeons and all that, they're pretty cool, but they can definitely be tedious from time to time. But it does make the world feel a lot more alive, and it definitely makes the world worth exploring more. Something really important to making a player want to explore are good side quests, and this is something Skyrim is known for. The quest quality in Skyrim is pretty consistent. Obviously, a quest from an old man in a small rundown village wouldn't be as exciting as joining the Dark Brotherhood or rebelling against the Imperials. But these little quests that have you choose whether or not to help someone out in a village really make the world feel more alive and worth exploring. Some of my favorite quests are ones you just find by walking around. The one that comes to mind when I think about this is Adairo's best friend. In this quest, if you don't know, you meet a man, he asks you if you can help him find his dog, and after finding the dog just starts speaking to you and asks you to follow him. He leads you up a mountain, through a forest, into a cave, only to reveal that his owner is a literal demon from hell. And at the end of this quest line, you help the two reunite and they live happily ever after, I guess. But it's quests like these that add so much character to the world of Skyrim and make the world feel worth exploring over and over and over again. Every time I start a new playthrough, I find something new to do, a new cave to explore, or even a new puzzle to solve. This really makes the world of Skyrim feel real, and being immersed into this world is easily one of the easiest ones in gaming. The atmosphere in Skyrim is really what makes this game so special to me. Walking through towns, hearing the chatter of its residents while the overcast sky lies above everyone, exploring through a forest as sunlight leaks in through the trees, climbing up 7,000 steps of stairs to reach the top of a mountain as the weather slowly changes from bright and clear to dark and foggy. All these things add to the beautiful atmosphere of Skyrim and make the game feel so much more alive and beautiful. The ambient noises and music play a huge role in Skyrim's atmosphere as well. The soundtrack by Jeremy Soule, I think I'm saying that right, if not I'm sorry, is absolutely beautiful. I can't sit here and say I know a whole lot about music, but listening to the soundtrack immediately immerses me into the world of Skyrim. Running through the low fog in the early morning, running to a town only to hear a dragon swooping down to attack said town, wandering through snowy ruins while fighting skeletons, exploring through unsettling silent tombs, and gazing off edges so high up you can almost see all of this extremely vast and beautiful world. I can't even begin to guess the amount of times I've just stopped and slowly panned my camera around my character just to fully take in the environment. Speaking with NPCs while the soundtrack quietly plays in the background brings this game to life and really makes me feel like I'm in some fantasy world that's filled with creatures I can never expect to see in my real life. This game's stunning atmosphere, in my eyes, is the key element that allows Bethesda to keep releasing this game generation after generation. And the fact that they were able to pull this off in 2011 just blows my mind. Now, I imagine this is probably the first thing that came to mind when you read the title of this video, so I'm gonna be a little more brief on this point. Not because I don't think it's important, but because I think everybody already knows how important it is. The Skyrim modding community is one of the strongest reasons why people still play Skyrim today. Mods allow you to curate the exact type of experience they want out of Skyrim. Do you want the game to look like it was released yesterday and is graphically stunning? Or maybe you want some new combat animations and better combat system. Maybe you think the UI could use a touch-up? Seems like there's a mod for everything in Skyrim. Mods add a constant flow of content that hasn't stopped since the game was released back in 2011. Now, a counterpoint to this would be that all of the really cool mods that change combat systems or make your game look like it was released yesterday are only available to those who have top-of-the-line PCs, or even just have a PC at all. And that point would be true. Although consoles do have mod support to a certain extent, you can't change your game up as much as someone with a $5,000 PC can. But that doesn't really mean you can't change it up at all. Just using the mods on console, you can't really add an insane amount of depth to your game, but you can make the experience quite different than just the vanilla Skyrim experience. Mods are incredibly important to how timeless Skyrim is, and I think everyone would agree. I don't think there is one single person who would disagree with that statement. But that doesn't mean it's the only thing keeping this game standing for so long. Mods do a lot of the heavy lifting and add so much to the game, but the foundation was already there from the very start. So, in conclusion, I think Skyrim is timeless because of its exploration, its atmosphere, and the mod scene. These, I think, are the three most important factors as to why Skyrim has been such a pillar for the past decade in the gaming industry. Skyrim is something that really means a lot to me. It was the first fantasy game I ever played, and I remember playing it for the first time just completely being taken aback by how cool the world was and how much freedom I had. And I was also super surprised that if you killed a chicken, everyone would get mad at you. And I thought that was really funny when I was younger, so I would always kill the chicken. But I just wanted to get on here and ramble about why I love this game and why this game will always be timeless to me. To conclude this video, I would like to thank everyone for watching. If there's anything you feel I missed and are disappointed I failed to mention, please leave a comment down below, because there is so much I missed that people definitely will hold sentimental that don't hold as much value to me. The reason I made this video in the first place was to explain as to why I feel this game will always be timeless to me personally. If you enjoyed listening to me ramble, please leave a like, consider subscribing. I have some really more cool videos planned, and I'd love for you to check them out when they're done. Anyway, I hope you all have a nice day, and hopefully, I'll see you again next time.
Our hero claims a warrior's heart. I tell you, the Dragonborn comes with the voice-wielding power of the ancient Nord art. Believe, the Dragonborn comes. It's an end to the evil of all Skyrim's foes. Beware, the Dragonborn comes. For the darkness has passed, and the legend yet grows. You'll know the Dragonborn's come. Smell that fresh air? Truly, this is a good place to play a song.
I just try and do my job and not think about what's happening. Try to find what happiness I can.